He's using natural things that describe spiritual things. You're not getting it.
Right, let's get it. Let's get it.
John is an Englishman. John's an Englishman. He's going to show you something.
All right. Now, you tell us again why Jesus went to the victory.
I think it's let's be
honest with each other. All right, let's not try and win an argument here.
You're not winning an argument.
I know you are. Anyway, let's establish truth here. Okay. Why did Jesus go to the victory in the first place? Why did he? What was his reason for it? What was the purpose of going to that victory? Now, you said a statement earlier that I'll allow you to retake that if you don't mind. That Jesus wanted to go up to the street to show the people this, that, the other, whatever. You want to take that back, or you want to maintain it?
The mother's one system.
No, I want to make it.
The mother's system.
So, if I show you the Bible, it says, and on the morrow, when they would come from Bethany, he was hungry. And seeing a fig tree afar of having leaves, he came, if haply he might find anything thereupon. So, why did he go to the fig tree?
He was what? Hungry.
Yes, but what I'm trying to say.
So why did he go to the fig tree?
Yes, because he was hungry. Yes.
Right.
But,
So you accept that?
Yes. But,
Right.
But,
And he went to the fig tree to get what? Figs.
Right. Fruit then.
Not figs.
Not a fruit.
Right.
Figs.
And then he found, when he got there, it was nothing but leaves. For the time of figs was not yet. So Jesus is hungry, and he sees a fig tree, and he goes over to this fig tree to eat some figs. But it's not the season for figs, so obviously there's no figs on the tree. And what does he do? He curses that perfectly healthy tree. And seeing a fig tree of having leaves, he came happy. If happily he might find anything that thereon. And when he came to it, he found nothing but leaves, for the time of figs was not yet. And Jesus answered and said unto it, No man eat fruit of thee hereafter forever. And his disciples heard it.
Okay.
So
this is what I'm
So listen, one thing. This is you now. Let's go back to your original claim. Jesus is God. And you said Jesus is the Father as well. So you've made a heresy there straight away. And now you're claiming that Jesus is a walking Father. Right. Now, I want to know how you can read something like that, seeing Jesus was hungry, what had wants he needed to eat.
As man.
And then he comes to a tree that had no fruit. And he cursed that tree, and for no fault of its own, that tree had no figs. And then he denied anybody thereafter to eat figs from this perfectly healthy tree. Yeah? Now you tell me how a knowing God does that. If Jesus is indeed God.
What did the tree do wrong? What did the tree do wrong?
Hold on.
To deserve being cursed? Ask yourself.
I told you already. John the Baptist said.
It's a different account.
No, it's not.
Otherwise, we'll be cursing every tree here. Otherwise,
we'll
be cursing all the trees here.
No. Well,
no, I'm telling you, based on your common sense, we'll be cursing every tree.
Well, excuse me.
If I go to that tree and I don't see no fruits, I'll curse it.
Can I speak?
You're talking about a different account here, you know that. John the Baptist was talking about metaphorically about the Jews.
You're either walking under a blessing or you're walking under a curse.
Now you're preaching.
I'm not preaching.
Now you're preaching.
No, I'm not preaching. No, I'm not. You're either walking under a blessing or
Talking about a different account.
Let me just make sure. Wait. Hold on, just make sure this is my mum. Make sure you don't get any aggressive around it. Yeah?
No.
We're Muslims, brother. We're not.
So, you made the point. I made the point about the fig tree, and now you're not talking about fig trees anymore for some reason. You've completely left this episode. Yeah? So I'll ask you again. Why did Jesus curse a perfectly healthy tree for not having figs when it wasn't the season for figs? Why did he do that?
No, but this is what I'm trying to get to. The Lord did to show the example of how we are as humans.
But the fig tree was healthy.
1 second.
You would say you're healthy.
No, the fig tree was healthy because it was in leaf.
You know, 1 second. You know the tree doesn't have its own will, right? It's whatever God's, the nature that God's give it, it will go by it, right? One second. Please, give me 1 second. We'll give me 1 second. Okay, 1 second.
He is a vine.
1 second, please, 1 second. 1 second.
What, the vine?
You know,
He's a bunch of other trees. We're like trees.
John 15, 16, and 17.
You know the tree.
You know that's an interpolation.
I'm talking about the fruit now.
You know that's fabrication.
The fruit.
1 second, Muhammad.
No.
You're trying to give us the example of the tree for our, basically, it's an example for us, human beings, right? Okay, no problem. So the tree did not do anything wrong, or did not go against God's will or nature that God gave it to it, and then again it was cursed. So if we obey God, that's what he's saying based on the common sense. If we obey God and do God's will, we're still going to be cursed. Is that what you're telling me?
No, you're not.
Why did you give me that example then?
No.
Do you understand?
No.
That's actually,
You know where I'm coming from?
No.
That's actually
Because
what they believe.
one second. Because the tree didn't do anything wrong, and it doesn't have its own will. 1 second, and it was just basically going back what God gives it. So, in other words, it's God that gave the power for the tree to give fruits when it's the season of giving fruits. So it's the same for us. If God gives us power and we obey God, we give the fruit or whatever we need to have to do basically to obey God, and God's still gonna curse us. We're not going against God, because the tree wasn't going against God. Because Jesus, he's saying Jesus is Lord and he created the tree, but then again,
She understands, she loves it. She knows.
yeah, she knows she's trapped.
She knows.
I know, to be honest.
No, I'm trapped. No,
I said to be honest.
You're trapped. Even spiritually, even spiritually you're wrong. Even
It's like me
spiritually
trying to
you're
describe the
wrong.
wind. You're not going to get it.
1 second. It doesn't matter.
You're not gonna get it.
Even we're talking spiritually here. I'm talking to you spiritually because you're trying to give the example of the tree, for example of
I
human
said.
beings. So,
You
listen,
know your Bible, don't you?
1 second.
He knows
1
his
second.
Bible.
Don't-
Jesus says,
listen,
I am the
don't
vine.
divert.
We are the branches.
Preaching now.
Right? No. He's the branch. We are the vine. I told you. He used that to describe us.
Can I say
men.
something about the verse?
No. He used that to describe us.
But can I say something about the verse?
John the Baptist said any tree that don't bear
That's a
fruit
different
is going to be
account.
cut off. No.
different
It's going to
account.
be. And who was John the Baptist talking to? He was talking to the Pharisees and then people of the day. And the people there, if you don't repent and give your life to Christ, you're going to be cut off in your sins. All the stories.
A couple of things. You appeal to this divine business. Okay. Now, this is an education for everybody out there. It's not quite mainstream as yet. I truly believe verse 15, 16, and 17 in the Gospel of John are interpolations, fabrications, personally. Okay. The reason I believe this because Jesus is talking in John 14, and he says to his disciples, "I will not speak much more to you now. Come on, let us leave this place." At the end of 14. And then in 15, 16, and 17, Jesus is doing the longest lecture he's ever done in the whole of the New Testament. And then chapter 18 says, and after Jesus says these words, they prayed and left. 14, 15, and 16 do not fit in with Jesus saying, "I will not say much more to you now. Come on, let us leave." So those three verses that have been interpolated in between verse 14 and 18 have no place there. Basically, this is how it should read, for me, from what I'm logically reading. Jesus says, "I will not speak much more to you now. Come on, let us leave this place." And after he said these words, he prayed and they left. Because this is when the Jews are coming to arrest him. Yeah? So Jesus knows that. So from there they leave and they go to the Kidron Valley and then to the Garden of Gethsemane. Yeah? So the last place that Jesus will sit down doing any lectures about any vines is after saying, "I will not speak much more to you now." And even some versions of the manuscripts don't even have the word much. So Jesus says, "I will not speak more to you now." And then what you're saying to support what you just said now, which doesn't support what you said now anyway, this is a side point.
That's it.
Well, according to the logic, those three verses are not even there. Anyway, that's the point. The point is this, the original point. The tree, did it have a choice to bear fruit or not? Did it have a choice? It had a choice.
We've got choice to bear fruit.
A tree.
We have got a choice.
Did the fig tree have choice to have figs on it?
No, we have a choice.
No.
We are the tree.
Right, no.
We are the tree.
Did a fig tree have choice to bear fruit or not?
I'm not talking about the tree.
No, I am. I talk about the fig tree first.
No, but I'm talking
Let's
about
talk
us.
about the fig tree because you're equating the fig tree to us.
Yes,
and I'm
it
showing
is.
you the difference between us.
But you've got a choice whether you can
But
bear
I'm
fruit
showing
in
you
your
the-
life or not.
Agreed.
You've got a choice whether you
Agreed.
can accept Jesus
Agreed.
or not.
Agreed. So therefore, but the fig tree
It
didn't
might
have
be
a
a
choice.
blessing or a curse.
Okay, but what you're saying, the fig tree didn't have a choice, and yet it was still cursed. We have a choice to bear
I
fruit.
told you the fig tree is not important.
No.
You use that as an example.
Yeah, but the example doesn't work. If you're trying to make it work, but it doesn't work, the reason being is
I'm telling you.
we are not the same as a fig tree. Why not? Because we can choose to bear fruit or
But I
not.
told you we're like trees. I am the
We're
vine.
not.
We are the
We're not.
branches.
Do you understand the?
Yes.
All right. Do you understand the concept of cause and effect?
No, I don't.
Right, cause and effect is where nothing that begins to exist happens without a cause.
But how do you know?
Nothing. Okay. No, some things are mechanical causes and some things are conscious causes. So, for example, a fig tree will automatically start producing figs, yeah, without a choice. As it exists, the fig growing process will exist. Yes. Okay. I'm a human being. One of my causes is my daughter. Yeah. My daughter wouldn't exist without me. But I can choose when to make that cause occur.
Yes.
Okay. So I am responsible. So my cause, my daughter or anything else, I'm a conscious cause. I can choose to obey, refuse, and such. Okay. The fig tree is a mechanical cause. As it was created, it doesn't have a choice in any matters.
Yeah.
It just produces figs.
Yeah.
So if the fig tree hasn't any figs, it isn't its fault, right?
Yeah.
Because that's how it was created.
So can I ask you one thing? Do you believe then that Jesus didn't know that there was no figs on the tree?
Yes, I don't believe he knew
Based
there was
on
figs
that
on the tree.
verse, yeah.
Reading the verse, he was hungry. He goes to the tree. He was gutted.
But I would say that he did know.
Oh, he did know. So why did he go to an empty tree?
While the Romans are behind him trying to kill him.
I told you, it's to show an example of how we should be.
No, you can't say that. Jesus went to the tree. Jesus went to the tree because he was hungry. And they said, well, read the verse. Jesus was hungry. Sorry. Jesus was hungry.
Yeah.
He saw a fig tree. So he went there to see if he could find some figs. Now, would you go to somewhere to see if you can find some figs if you don't know there's figs on there?
Yeah, but Jesus being God and all-knowing, you think he doesn't know there were
come
no
on.
figs?
So why would he
Come
go
on,
all-knowing?
I'm asking you a
He's not
question.
all-knowing.
It is all-knowing.
Well, if he knew,
But that's what I'm saying, he did it as an example.
Example of what?
So he's playing tricks.
What is the
so give me one example of Jesus' all-knowing nature. One example.
Nothing. You are all-knowing.
You said Jesus is all-knowing.
Yes,
Give me an example. Give me an example. Does he know the time of the
As
hour?
God,
Does he know
not
the-
as man.
Does he know the time of the hour?
As God, not
Does
as
he know
man.
the time of the hour? Does he know the day of judgment?
As man, no.
Does Jesus
As
know?
God, yes.
So Jesus doesn't know.
As man, no, but as God, yes.
Was Jesus God?
No.
God knows when he was here. When the
In
Jesus
his humanity, he didn't know, but as God, he does know.
So in his humanity, he knows there's no figs on the tree, yeah?
He didn't you. Come on.
One second. Was he
So now
God?
you're saying he can switch between divine and thingy nature. And at the same time, he says by himself he can do nothing.
Just push the button.
When the woman touches him from behind, who touched me? Who touched me?
You think he didn't know who touched you? He knew who touched you.
So why did he ask who touched me?
Because he wanted the woman to come. Because remember, she was hiding behind the crowd. He wanted the woman to come and reveal herself.
No.
He could have said, woman, it's you that... He could have said, it's you that touched me.
In Mark,
But he wanted the woman to
I'll
come.
tell you what he did.
But you don't know.
I'll tell you what he did.
Yeah.
In the Gospel of Mark,
Yeah, he knew.
in the Gospel of Mark, when the woman touched him, he turned and said, who touched me?
Who touched me?
Yes.
In the Gospel of Matthew,
Yeah.
he turns and says, why do you touch me? So now he knows. He didn't know in Mark.
No, he didn't know.
Now all of a sudden in Matthew he knows.
Yeah. If he's a God,
It's called
he doesn't
Christology.
know.
It's showing how Jesus is slowly being transformed from a basic man into a God by the Gospel of John.
Trying to elevate him.
Because in one time he doesn't know, the next he knows.
That's why you find a lot of verses in John, which is the last gospel.
In Matthew, like for example, you know when he curses the fig tree in Mark, it's the next day. They notice the fig tree's withered, and they say to Jesus, "Oh look, there's that tree."
Yeah.
Forgive me, Mr. Sorry. There's that fig tree. Yeah. In Matthew, the tree withers immediately, showing he's more powerful now.
contradiction.
Does that make no sense? And here's the problem, you see. You're misunderstanding the teachings of Jesus. This is the problem. I don't want to bully you too much. I just want you to reflect on that. Is that enough to reflect, please? And be honest with it.
No.
I want you to go to your pastor and ask him.
Was
I
Jesus
don't want to
God?
blag you with this John the Baptist. We're all tree spirit business, yeah?
No, that's what the word of God says. I don't need to go to
One
my
second. Was Jesus fully God when he was here or fully human?
pastor. Both.
Okay, so he was God then. So why, if he was perfect, why did he know that there's no fruits in the tree, in the fig tree?
No, she said he didn't know.
No, but she's saying because he was human. But now she's telling me he was fully
No,
God.
but she said he did know. He did know.
She knows.
Think about it. Why would he not know when he always...
Because I believe him when he says I don't know.
Hold about that.
Because I believe him. I don't call him a liar.
No, you know what I'm going to say? Because he reads the Bible, so he knows. A lot of the time, when the Pharisees came to ask Jesus a question, Jesus already perceived what they were going to say already in their heart.
Trick question.
As man.
It's a trick question.
Would God not know that? What's in your
One
heart?
second. No.
Some of the prophets, they know. Yes, you.
No.
I don't know what's in your
It's called human
heart.
intelligence. 1 second.
No, it's not.
All revelation
He knew
from God.
exactly
You
where.
don't have
That's
them.
why
However
when
you
he
wanna call
spoke to them in one word, they just went away. They just walked away.
If you're trying to trick him, 1 second.
Yes.
He knows they're trying to trick him. They're trying to put words into his
Yeah,
mouth.
but
so
he
they can
perceived what was
prosecute
in
him.
their hearts.
1 second.
What they were coming with.
Listen, every prophet of God, he can get a revelation from God to tell him the motive of the person that, that's approaching him. Even Muhammad, when they tried to kill him, God gave him revelation. Banu Qurayza, the Jews, God gave him revelation, and he just flee. His companions asked him, what's wrong? Where are you going? He said, just come. Because he knew that because he came by himself to Banu Qurayza, which is the Jewish tribe, and they tried to kill him, and God gave him the revelation, and he went straight away. So we believe prophets will get revelation.
Man of God, isn't it?
You believe the prophet will get revelation?
Of course, yeah. Common sense. Of course.
Of course, all the prophets. Not only Muhammad, all the prophets.
We have this big of revelation called the Quran.
Yeah.
Just reflect on this victory story and ask yourself, reflect on it.
Yeah.
Ask, if Jesus is what I think he is, this all-knowing God man, then seriously, why was he going to a tree to eat figs? And going to an empty tree and then cursing the tree? The cursing the tree is the key. Even if they cursing that whole tree that done nothing wrong,
don't believe
and
he
this is
did
a
it,
healthy
though.
tree that will feed people figs for the generations, and he destroyed it. And he cursed that tree for one reason, having no figs.
There's no morality or
just like I
or
said,
a good
it's gonna-
example for us to
You're trying to
follow
say to me Jesus was
in this
perfect.
story anyway.
but
That's not perfect.
Yeah, but did you hear what I said though?
Is that perfect?
No, but what I was going to say to you, did you hear what I said though? You hear what he said? Jesus cursed the tree for having no fruit.
Was it his
So
fault?
Jesus said anybody who
Was it his
doesn't
fault?
bear fruits in their life is going to be
Was it his
cut
fault?
off and thrown
Was it his fault, was it? So Jesus said,
then God wasn't
if
allowed,
Jesus
was he?
can go and curse a
No.
perfectly healthy tree, that would feed people, that is not perfection.
If he was God, 1 second, Hamza, if he was God, he would go to the tree and said bear fruits.
And it would have
Bear
been fruit. And it would have been
Because he's
fruit.
hungry.
Keep that in mind.
Yeah, if he wanted to. Yeah, if he wa- yeah, if he
If he
wanted
could. He was hungry, don't forget. He was hungry. So he could have satisfied his hunger, innit?
For God was so loving, he sent his own son. God was so
Really
loving.
hungry.
Yes.
He was really hungry. If you're hungry, you're gonna call take away, pay money, and wait to eat.
Wasn't
So
it-
if you're a God,
wasn't it-
take away.
wasn't it?
Me,
Excuse
the
me.
fig tree.
Hold on.
I'll make the
Hold
fig
on,
tree
hold
give me
on,
banana
hold
as
on.
well.
Wasn't it the
If
same?
I was God.
No,
Yeah.
but wasn't hold on, but was it not the same? Hold on. Wasn't it not the same? Was it not the same Jesus that sat down on the summit of Mount and feed over 5,000 people from 3 fishes and?
Yet couldn't grow figs on a tree.
Yeah, but did he not multiply? He just prayed over it.
Well,
and multiplied.
okay, here's
This is God. This is Jesus now.
But here's the problem we have. You're now relying on your scriptures to tell you the truth. That's the problem now. You think this happened. Was there any source outside of the New Testament that said 5,000 people were fed? Any source? Non-biblical. Because that's quite miraculous, isn't it?
That is miraculous.
So some
Even Lazarus raising from the dead.
some historian outside of the New Testament would have recorded this event. Did anyone record an event of 5,000 people being fed with a few loaves of fish? No. So how can you show that happened then?
What they do, they glorify Jesus per gospel, and by the time you get to the last gospel, he's Superman. Which, if you want to believe it, he
I'm
is.
saying to you, you quoted a miracle that nobody outside of... If there was New Testament, no one would know that happened. Now, if that happened in Fulham today, everyone would know. The world would know. Yeah? Well, that's an extraordinary event. When Jesus was apparently crucified, and there was an earthquake, and the saints rose from the graves and went into the towns. This is an extraordinary event. You would expect non-New Testament sources to record this. But there's nothing.
Do you know this? Do you know this? The saints
So
rose from
without
the
a New
graves.
Testament, here's the
Yeah, I
main
did
thing.
know that.
All these miracles that happened, without a New Testament, there's no historical record of any of them.
Need anymore.
And we know there were historians of the time writing.
Do you know the story though? The saints that rose from the ground and walked down the streets of Jerusalem. Do you know the story?
Even, we look in history, Pontius Pilate wasn't even the governor at that time. No. The Gospels contradict one another. The birth of Jesus is wrong according to Luke and according to another birth. They're in different timelines. One is like 4 BC, the other is like 6 AD. Yeah? One Gospel says that they stayed in Galilee, the other one said they fled to Egypt. Well, which was it? So you can't put too much confidence in these verses.
The book is the book.
Really?
Because without this New Testament, there's no historical records of any of this. And because these were quite extraordinary events, you would expect. Look, according to the Gospel of Matthew, there was an earthquake at the crucifixion, and there was an earthquake at the resurrection. According to Matthew, no one else recorded an earthquake. Mark didn't record an earthquake, John didn't record an earthquake, Luke didn't record an earthquake, Matthew records 2. No extra biblical sources record an earthquake. Where's this for?
It was not only the earthquake, but people that have been dead for hundreds of
the
years
saints rising
coming up
and going
out of
into the
them,
towns.
and angels are descending from heaven.
You want to lean against the fence, you look tired.
No.
No,
She's mentally
fine.
exhausted. I get it.
No, I'm not mentally exhausted. I reject that in Jesus' name. I'm not. I'm listening to what he's saying.
No, you're revitalized.
But the thing is,
all
right,
I'll ask of you is to reflect. I'll tell you
your
why.
mind. That's
All these miraculous stories and everything you're believing, you weren't born believing this stuff. It's been taught to you. Yeah? And you've read it. And the question is, why do I believe it? There has to be a reason why you believe it. Do you get me?
It's a very, very valid point. Like, look at it, we're
That's
talking
what
to you.
you have to reflect. You can't just accept things. Look,
You don't study the Quran, you study the Bible.
you can't, like for example, the Hindus believe what their book says, isn't it? That there was Ganesh and a head cut off, they put an elephant head on it. They believe all this stuff as if it's real. Now, did you know this? Now, this is one that's going to shock you. There are 15 religions that predate Christianity that speak of a virgin birth on December the 25th, and a crucifixion, and raising after 3 days from the dead. Are you aware of that?
no.
So all these things that Jesus did, they're not original. They've been done in previous religions. The Greeks, the Danes, and all of these things contain crucifixions, piercing with a spear, born December 25th, virgin birth. Yeah? So it's not an original thing. So it's not hard to create this story. Now, when you marry that up with the fact there's no historical records of any of this, so reflect. Well, it is. I'll tell you why it is about reflecting. Because you don't know everything.
No, I don't.
Right. So, if you don't know everything, and some new knowledge comes to you, you have to reflect on it. You have to question it. You have to analyse
But
it.
you know why I stopped speaking?
No. I'm not reflecting it now. I'm saying to you, what I've said to you now is something for you to go away and see if it's true or not. And then once you realise this is true, what I've said, and YouTube, SCDawah, you'll be able to see everything that I said.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? Then there's ramifications of that. There's consequences to that. Because can I still believe all this when there's no historical records that happened? Can I still believe this is all like original when there was people being put on crosses and dying for 3 days and born of virgins December the 25th prior to Jesus? And the Christians have the audacity to say to Muslims that we plagiarized the Bible. If you want to talk about plagiarism, look at the New Testament and look at all the pre-existing religions, and you'll just see everything. Horus, was it Horus?
I don't know about what.
Horus, virgin birth, Isis, whatever. In Egyptian mythology. Krishna, born of a virgin, crucified. It's not new. So when you think, oh, Jesus did this, Jesus did that, Jesus did that, then you can say, Krishna did this, Krishna did that, Krishna did that. Horus did this, Horus did that. Perseus did this, Perseus did that. What's your point? That doesn't validate what we're saying here. But we're questioning the words. You're trying to make this claim that Jesus is God and he's doing things that are not God-like. He's basically doing things against God. Because God created a tree with a nature and Jesus is cursing that tree for fulfilling its nature. And I'll repeat myself, that is not perfection. And you made the claim earlier Jesus is perfect. That is not perfect. That is not perfect knowledge and that is not perfect manners. And when he went to abuse the Jews, that's not perfection either. When he overturned the tables, that's not perfection either. When he threatened to return and annihilate everybody who didn't accept him, nor was that perfection.
You can get angry, but you say no.
What did Jesus say to those who do not hear his words? Brush your dust from your feet.
Yeah, and move on.
And then what?
Talk about Sodom and Gomorrah.
No, what did he say? What did he say? Because the fate of Sodom and Gomorrah was nothing compared to what was going to happen to these. So Jesus is threatening everyone with annihilation.
Because he's talking about eternity.
We're not accepting. Now, here's the thing you see. Jesus, when he speaks, he's talking about the generation he's in. Jesus is telling his people, you will see this. You will see these things. If you read the Bible properly, if you read what Paul says, Paul says, don't worry about getting married, don't worry about if you're a slave to be freed, because the end is coming. Because the idea of Jesus' return was to happen in that generation. So Jesus was going to return in that generation and slaughter everybody. That ain't perfection.
Sorry, he wasn't talking about that. He was talking about now we're in the last days.
So why is he saying to his disciples, you will see this? Will they see this? No. His disciples are dead now, yes?
Yes, because he actually said that you will see it.
Yes. These things will not happen until this generation. Which generation? Why is Paul telling everybody, don't get married, you don't need, don't worry about work, business, don't bother.
Did he actually say that you will see it?
Paul says, don't get married, don't start business. If you're a slave, don't worry about being a slave, because the end is coming. If you read the Bible correctly, it's a doomsday book. Yes, yes, it is. It's not a prophetic, in the end of days, it's going to happen after 2018 or 20. No. Jesus is talking in real terms there. He's telling the 12, you will be governors over these people.
It's brilliant.
Yeah? This is real time.